it's Alexis Hasselberger, time management and productivity coach. Do you find that you take a lot of notes, but then you have trouble finding those notes when you actually need them? They're everywhere. Maybe they're living in a sea of post it notes all over your desk, or maybe you've got a whole bunch of notebooks and you're trying to rifle through them to figure out what's in there and what you need to do. Well, I want to share with you some better ways to take notes because I think that we all struggle with this. Just like so many of us are really great at making lists, but not so great at doing the things on the list. I think a lot of us are really good at taking notes and not very good at using those notes, right? So we want to talk about that second piece. So a few things that I want to share. I think a lot of people are, thinking about notes and we're thinking about using a standalone task or a notes app, right? We're thinking about using Evernote or OneNote or something like that. I have a different suggestion. Try using your task app for all of your notes. It keeps everything in one place. And so, what do I mean by this? How would you actually do this, right? So, you have tasks, you have projects, you have meetings and things. Each of those is probably a task or a project in your app, in your task app, if you're using one. And so, what you can do is actually just put the notes into the comments field of a particular task or a project, etc. If you have action items that come out of your notes, well, then you can put those in the description as the next actions or the subtasks. So your notes can actually live along with your tasks, and then they're related to the thing already. They're searchable so that when you need them, you can search by keyword and you can find them, and you don't have to go looking in separate systems wondering where you put some sort of information. So TickTick is, it's my favorite task app, but there are many of them out there, and you could use them, whatever you're using, you can use that for your notes. Now, how do you actually get your notes into your task app or get them into whatever system you're using? So some people take paper notes, and that's fine, but you do need to transcribe them. You do need to get them in there. And so if you take paper notes or if you take typing digital notes, either way, it's fine. It's whatever works for your brain. But I like to use a simple symbol system to help me keep track of notes so that I can easily get them in. And so what do I mean by this? I mean that when I'm taking notes, if it's something I have to do, I just put a little checkbox right next to it so that I know that's a task or an action item. If it's information that's really pertinent that I'm definitely going to need and I'm going to want to transcribe later, I just put a little star next to it. That means it's important and it needs to go in there. And then a lot of times when we're taking notes, it's actually information we don't really need. We're just taking notes to kind of process or, verbatim typing what somebody's saying. We don't actually need that information. And so when you're transferring or transcribing notes into your system, you're going to want to do a little bit of synthesis, a little bit of parsing. And having a simple strategy, a simple symbol system really helps us to do that. And then I'm talking about transcribing and transferring, and you're like, that's a lot of work, right? I think, yeah, it's a little bit of work. It's not my favorite thing that I do every day, but having everything is all in one place is far worth the 10 minutes that or 15 minutes to go into getting this stuff in there. There are a lot of ways to make it faster too. So if you handwrite your notes, you can actually use Google Keep, a free tool to take a picture of those notes and then click grab text and it'll turn your handwriting into a text file that you can copy and paste, right? You can enter voice notes. A lot of different task systems will allow you to enter voice notes. So there are lots of ways that you can actually do this that don't just, that aren't just literally transcribing things that you've already written. Now, if you're typing your notes directly, that's great. Then that's, maybe a lot faster for you. Maybe you're doing it in, a doc and not directly into your task system. You might have to do some copying and pasting later. That's okay. But what I really want you to take away from this video is if you are having trouble keeping track of your notes or finding them later, try putting them in your task system so that they're searchable, they're available, and they're already related to the thing that you were taking the notes about. Now, drop a comment about how you take notes or what's your favorite notes app or what task system are you using. I would love to hear what others are doing and if you have any other tips to share as well.
Hey, it's always here. I just want to quickly tell you to like and subscribe, because it really helps out the channel, and it will just be a quick second. And since you're already watching this video to the end, just please like and subscribe if you hear this. Thanks in advance.